It's 2003 in Japan. A new light novel has just hit shelves and it's causing quite a stir. It's the first in a series that will go on to become a sensation worldwide. That novel is The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is a series that's extremely close to my heart. I've finished every single episode multiple times. I've read all the books that I had had up until recently multiple times. I know the intro monologue to the first episode just completely by heart. And it's been a show that's been very influential on me. Really brought me into anime. It was the first series I actually watched in order rather than just whatever bullshit would pop up on Cartoon Network or Jetix. And it exposed me to anime in a completely different light starting out. Honestly, the book's a little bit underwhelming if I just explain it, and it's a bit of a hard sell. But basically, it follows Kion, a high school student who becomes friends with Haruhi, a girl with very, very strange behavior and a reputation because of it. And she ropes him into creating a new high school club. And it follows the two of them and the hijinks the club gets into, the different characters who join over time. It's not everything, but it's a basic enough summary if you wanted to go watch it because you haven't, or if you wanted to go finish it, you might want to do that, now before this video. I won't be spoiling a ton of stuff, but little bits here and there, and I think it's definitely worth a watch if you want to. It's still holds up alright. It's very iffy in certain spots. It's definitely not aged amazingly, at least certain portions of it. But it's still a pretty solid show overall, and if you wanted to watch it, it seems interesting. I honestly say go for it if you have the time to kill. Of course, if you ever watched it, the second season is the last, and they never finish after that, even though there's quite a bit of story to get through. There's the movie, but that hadn't come out yet at the time, and I begged my parents to let me buy the first volume, and eventually I did. And that's where most of my life savings as a child would end up going to. I would scrape together every bit of money that I could and then go buy it from a scalper on Amazon because half the shit was out of print and they weren't reprinting it anytime soon because it had been finished. And I mean, it was wild. I missed the last 3 volumes and never got to finish it for a really long time because I'm not paying that price. It's definitely something that has really shaped who I am now, and not really in a way that I had thought about much, but I really enjoy it, and I think it's something that lots of people would enjoy. But why I enjoy it is for a plethora of reasons. It just looks amazing. I mean, the earlier season obviously has its moments where it looks kind of shitty. The second season definitely is a major improvement, but the movie and the spin-off, the Yuki spin-off, is just beautiful. And I don't understand why it looks so good and still holds up so well today. It honestly is just a treat. The music's fantastic. All of the little jazzy tracks that are used in the background, or Eric Satie's work, they really sowed the seeds for what I would enjoy later on in life. Honestly, I could just go on a rant about Satie's work, but that would be a completely different video, and maybe I'll do that later, but not now. A moment that really struck me, though, was Endless 8. And I know Endless 8 has, a bad stigma around it, and a lot of people really don't like Endless 8, but I really enjoyed it. Not only growing up, I didn't know if I would enjoy it now. I went and rewatched it just to make sure it wasn't just nostalgia, but I really enjoyed Endless 8. Even today. And I can't really understand why a lot of people fault it. Obviously it's not for everyone, but it's very experimental. For those who don't know, or didn't bother to go watch it, Endless 8 is quite a few of the episodes of the second season, which repeat the same story. So it is this time break in the middle of the story in which the characters are forced to repeat the same days over and over and over and over again, becoming unaware until about halfway through when they finally become aware of their situation. And why I loved Endless Eight wasn't that kind of hijinks, though I think that was really interesting, and I hadn't really seen that, especially when I was younger. And the differences to Spot were really cool, and they reanimated a lot of it. Or reading through the books is also really cool to see. But Yuki. I really loved Yuki's character when I was younger, and this just made me love it even more. There's just something so sad about seeing Yuki have to go through all of this because she's the only one who becomes aware of everything the whole time, and she experiences it all over and over and over again without going through this cycle of forgetting. And while Yuki's character is obviously very closed off throughout the series, you kind of see these little glimmers of more of herself come out, and seeing just how sad she looked throughout everything really, I don't know, it just struck me, especially when I was younger. This was honestly one of the first anime I had watched like this when I was younger, and it would show me that anime could be experimental, and it could be different, and it could be just something completely off the wall and tackle topics that I didn't know it could. After this, it would be Evangelion, but that's its own bag of shit and long drawn out topic. But Endless Eight was just something I really enjoyed, and I still enjoy now. I just kind of filter it through different, I guess, experiences nowadays. Instead of not being in a place great mentally and feeling a little bit down about myself when I was younger, it was now my feelings of not knowing what the fuck to do with anything, and just feeling like I'm constantly repeating. And I get that that's probably where a large chunk of my enjoyment of Endless Eight comes from, but I still think it's something that's honestly very meaningful, and I'm so glad that someone had the risk-taking potential to just make something like that, no matter how much backlash it got and how much it caused issues for the series in the anime or in production. Is just a really cool part of this entire series, and I think it's really good. And don't you even get me started on the fucking spin-offs. Okay, it just makes Endless Eight just makes Yuki's spin-off just feel so much better to actually read through or watch, because like I said, it's gorgeous. But it's just it brings this like weird cathartic end to it all. And it's just a treat, man. I don't know. If you haven't watched any of this stuff, like, honestly, I don't know what you're doing. Just please go ahead and take the time to go watch it. It's a really good series, and I think that it's something that a lot of people might enjoy if they just give a shot. Introduced me to different stuff like Initial D later down the road, Lucky Star, a lot of these different series that kind of were referencing Haruhi later on the line, and I got into because of the different forums and like communities built up around it. It was just a lot of fun, and it really exposed me to anime when I was a little kid, and I just really appreciated it. Something I really don't appreciate, though, is they fucking reprinted the new novels when I bought them, because they used to have these really nice, like, simplistic aesthetics, and they were really nice and swanky. But no, they put this on the front of the new ones, and I don't know why. They had a good design already, and they could have just, like, left it there, and it would have been fine. But I can't be too hard on myself now, because when I was younger, instead of buying this one in fucking paperback like a normal person, I just decided, no, I'd buy it hardbook. And I really wish the fucking 10-year-old that was me would have spent the extra $10 to get it from a scalper for just a little bit more, to get the one that fit my fucking collection that I have right now. But who knows? Who knows what he was doing? Probably sitting there eating crayons or losing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like waiting for Pokemon Hoenn to come back out. It just infuriates me to no end, and I have no idea why, and I just want it all